The curtains are back, so welcome back to my room. Hey guys, my name is Olive Fox. Welcome back to my room, and today we're going to be talking about Arcane. I am completely unfamiliar with the League of Legends, but when I watched the trailer and the teasers for Arcane, they really captured my attention. And moreover, we have Kevin Alejandro. I'm a big fan of him. He's an amazing actor and director. Now we're going to see how he does as a voice actor, so let's begin. As for today's video, I am only going to be talking about the first episode because I think in the first and the last episodes there is so much more to talk about because there is the beginning of the story and then the entire wrap up. So there's so much to talk about. So there's going to be like 3 videos for the first episode, and then the second video would be about throughout the second episode to the 8th episode, and then a final video for the final 9th episode. So that's what we're going to be doing, and let's begin with the first episode with my very first impression of the characters, the animation that I'm already a fan of, and let's begin. So I started the episode and they had my undivided attention in the first 5 seconds. So every time you are watching a Netflix original series, the words Netflix, a Netflix original series or something like that pop up, and my God. It was so creative. I don't think I have ever came across anything like that in my life. Not for DC, not for Marvel, not for HBO, nothing. Not even for Netflix ever before. This takes the cake. It looked stunning. Whoever the art director, whoever is the concept creator for this series, they deserve a raise. That's it. And it wasn't just the words Netflix original series that caught my attention. The immediate music, it was so haunting. Almost like, the lullabies that mothers sing to their children in horror movies. It caught my heart. The lyrics, the way it was like a childish voice singing them, so peaceful, so haunting at the same time. And it made sense because as soon as we moved into the series, we saw that this sort of war was going on. And the 2 girls, Y and Powder, they lose their mother. The song reminds you of lullaby singing mothers, and they lost their lullaby singing mother, and it was heartbreaking. But the songs, all the songs throughout the episode, the really rock ones, and we had multiple one of them, especially the one in the intro, they all caught my attention and kept me interested. I literally need to go to Spotify and get that playlist right now. So the episode began by telling us Y and Powder's story, how they were really young and they witnessed this war or something, and they witnessed the guy Wanda kill their mother. I think she was their mother, and how Y just broke down in that scene, how just Wanda was just staring at them like, oh my God, I wish she was not a mother. In that moment, you could see all those expressions, and then he just adopts them, which is my favorite trope, because one of my favorite books is The Cruel Prince, and that is exactly what happens in The Cruel Prince. Medoc kills both parents of Jude, and then later adopts all 3 of the girls. And I just think, because I think these sort of tropes really show you that when he killed the mother, he had no personal enmity with her. He had to do it, and just because those 2 girls were her daughters does not make them equally involved in her crimes, and they do not deserve to suffer. So he adopts them, and I think that's very gentlemanly of him in a very, very murderous sort of a way. But Medoc was my favorite character in The Cruel Prince, and that's why in this, Wanda is my favorite character. And every time Y was deceiving him, sort of, I did not like that because, as I stated, he is now my favorite character. And Jude too is actually quite similar to the main character Y. She also steals and spies and wants to find her place in the world. She doesn't just want to be Medoc's daughter. She wants to achieve something, and that's exactly what Y wants. So I am all invested. You have all of my attention, and I am going to watch this series. So as stated previously, Y wants to earn her place in the world, and as she grows up, she has this sort of clan of friends. There is Powder, Milo, herself, and another guy who had these really funny goggles on. So the four of them go on a little heist at the surface, and that's when I noticed the rating for the show. It is rated 16 plus. It has violence, sex, and substances. Wow. I was not expecting sex, but here we are. So the four of them go on a heist, and they are about to rob an inventor. Firstly, the light took me by surprise, and then the fact that they were about to rob an inventor took me by surprise. Because in the trailer, neither of these things were mentioned, which is good. You don't have to mention everything. But it also sort of broke my heart. They're about to rob an inventor. That is just sad. I mean, imagine it's the 18th century and a car has just been invented and it gets stolen. I don't know, even if it's the modern technology, an inventor should never be robbed. Come on. He took all this time to build something that never existed before, and you're about to rob him. Good God, I would never do that. It's monstrous. It's something that should be prohibited and only chargeable by death. That's it. I'll just say it. So they were about to rob the inventor, and all this time, all the dialogues that Vi was saying did not really hit the spot for me. She sounded like really stubborn and bratty every time she was talking, and I did not like that. I mean, this dialogue specifically, what was the purpose behind this dialogue?
Yeah, only if we screw up. So don't screw up. You gonna get that door open anytime soon?
Working on it.
She sounds so rude. I do understand that you're the boss around here, but there is no need to be that rude. But on the other hand, Milo here said a really great dialogue.
How can anyone have so much stuff?
Simple. Just get born lucky.
So they move on with the heist, and Powder finds these blue jewels that are actually bombs. Can you imagine? Inventors should never be robbed. He literally created this ginormous, beautiful diamond-like stone that is blue, and it explodes. Can you imagine stealing something like that? Something that is out of this world, something that is magical. You steal it. It just broke my heart. So they accidentally blew up the building. It's not enough that they were stealing a lot of the inventions. Now a lot of the inventions are destroyed, and a lot of notes and books and everything is destroyed. It's just, my God, my heart just hurts. So after robbing and blowing up the place, they decide to run. And my God, the weapons the police was using and the tactics those four were using in order to run was just amazing. All those weapons, all those sharp thinking, sharp moves that Vi was making, it was just absolutely amazing. And then they had to go down a sewer in order to escape the police, and that was hilarious. But at the same time, it kind of showed the severity of the situation. They could not afford to not take a chance that disgusting. They just had to go down the gutter. So Milo did sort of protest, but ultimately they went down the drain and found themselves in the underground. And that's when I realized that all of the clips in the trailer were from the underground where Vi lives, and on the surface it is all technology and developed and stuff, and that's why they're robbing the surface, which, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. We have, seen that in the real world as well. When a country parts, one of the piece always is more developed than the other, and it is pretty hard for the other one to live with that. Just how Singapore separated from Malaysia, and now Singapore, even though it's far smaller, is more developed and less polluted. I love Singapore. The lack of dust and pollution has my heart, especially because right now I'm in a part of the world that is really polluted, and that's why I'm coughing every 2 minutes. Please don't pollute the world. It's literally hard to breathe for people like me. I'm tired of coughing. My throat hurts. But this wouldn't stop as long as the government doesn't do anything about the pollution. So Vi and her friends make their way down into the underground, and on their way they are stopped by a group of thugs who are like, we need a taste of that. I mean, where's the commission? I absolutely hate people like that. So Vi thankfully decided that she's not going to be paying anything, and they get into a fight and Powder runs off with the bag, and bloody threw it into the water. The amount of anger I felt in that moment is undescribable. If I were the guy chasing after her, I would have literally beheaded her on the moment and I would have jumped after the bag. That's what I would have done. You threw priceless inventions into the water. How dare you? How dare you? I swear to God, if I were in Y's gang, I would have immediately resigned. Like, I am not going on another heist ever if Powder is involved. That is unforgivable. You could not think of anything. I mean, should have just handed it over to the tug. But no, she had to throw it in the water. I mean, it suits them right for robbing an inventor, but the bloody inventions, So finally taken to the underworld, and we were introduced to a guy who had a rather Pennywise-like hairline, and he was making this deal with these two guys, a guy and a girl, the girl having a makeup look that you would be seeing on me any day now. He was making a deal with them, and the two of them were like, okay, we're not gonna pay you the price that we told you we'd pay you. And that's when Wanda came in, and I was like, yes.
I expected something younger.
We were expecting traders who would honor their word. So I guess we're all disappointed.
So he comes in, he's like, getting involved in the deal, and now he's the one threatening them. The tables have turned, and that's when he saw his good-for-nothing children return. So he's like, okay, even though I did not sign up for the adoption, I still told myself that I have adopted them, so therefore I will go and play nursemaid. So he goes and questions them, and thankfully the kids did not refuse. They were pretty straightforward. They were angry, even though they were the one who lost the inventions and also blew up building, and yet they were angry at him, and it was okay. It was a chill day. That's just how older siblings are. I mean, seeing your stubborn parent arguing with your stubborn sibling is the worst possible thing that can happen, because for some reason you feel like it's you who's going to be damaged most. Like, every time my brother is having an argument with my family, my parents, my grandparents, I'm like, my God, dear God, please protect me. Please protect me. It's like a war zone. So there was a war zone between Wanda and Y, and I was outside of the screen, yet I felt all the tension, and I was like, okay, God, please protect me. They have the argument. He tells everyone to leave, and he sits Y down and, tells her that he's not really angry at her because she blew up a building. He's angry at her because she took the risk. I mean, she literally even took her sister with her. And he was like, okay, just, be a bit careful. And they had a little chit chat, and then he asked, he exchanged a few words with Milo, and then with the third guy, he was like, okay, you tell me exactly what happened, because he knew that the rest of them were going to leave out details. And that was just amazing, because parents always know things like that. Some parents don't, but some parents do. They walk over to the local inventor store, and that's when Powder realizes that she still has the blue bombs. She goes in and overhears Milo and Y having a little chat, and I'm just like, why not listen to the entire conversation, Powder? You're already at it. Listen a bit more. But she doesn't, and leaves, all sad. I am a disappointment. Clearly you haven't met me. She leaves, and Y and Milo have a little chit-chat, and I really liked how Y defended her sister. That's what sisters should do. And I also sort of agree with Milo, because Powder is undertrained, and there is nothing wrong with that. Y needs to train her more, but the surface is not the place. There's a difference between a test, where you are allowed to make improvements, and the final examination. The surface is the final examination. If you mess up, you mess up, and you have to probably pay with your life. That is not a place to take an amateur. So go on mini heists around the underworld, and then once she is properly trained, then take her to the surface. So Wanda was in the inventor's shop when people from the surface come looking for the 4 culprits, and they're like, just give us the 4 of them and no one gets hurt. And he obviously cannot give the 4 of them because 2 of them are his daughters. So that argument is still there. They have still, in this episode, they have still not decided who they're going to hand in or if they're going to hand it anyone at all. And and in the final scene, we were told that the group of thugs actually worked for a guy who wants to overthrow Wanda. And I think a group of teenage thugs is exactly what a guy who wants to be the next Hound should have. Because nobody suspects them to be working for someone. They're literally useless. I mean, who would even take them? So... and it's really saddening how even thugs have the right to vote and choose who is going to rule over everyone. I sometimes, think about that. I'm like, some people should literally not be eligible to vote because they're just, they're going to make the worst possible decision. Anyway, they are also inventors, and they invented this sort of potion, and they were about to test it. They threw this cat in a little glass aquarium where there was already a mouse, and instantly in that moment I was like, okay, I see the mouse eating the cat, and yes, that's exactly what happened. The mouse drank the potion, and they did not show what the mouse turned into. Really, really disappointed. But we all know that at the end it was the rat who rose the victor, and I loved it. It's literally 9 p.m. What is the rooster doing? He should be asleep. So that was it for this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, give me a like. Also comment below, let me know if you like the idea of three separate videos on the one season, or if you want me to do just one more video, or if you would want me to do just one video per season. Let me know your preferences, and that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out my comedy channel. It's at LNF, and my Instagram is at LNF_Fox, and my Twitter is at LNFFox. The links to everything will be good God. The links to everything will be in the description box, and I'm the only other Fox in this world, and we did not get Kevin in this episode. I really want him, so I'd love to see how how he does the voice acting, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.
Baby, please just tell me if